In the world of cloud computing, a single month can feel like a whole year, right? So let's dive into what's new in Azure as we kick off 2026. We've got a ton to cover, smarter ways to plan your costs, some major performance boosts, and, of course, some absolutely crucial updates in the AI space. All right, let's get into it.
So to really get our heads around one of the biggest challenges, and honestly, one of the biggest opportunities with AI right now, I want to start with a little story. It's a personal one. It's about a super simple task, a tiny misunderstanding, and, yeah, a surprisingly well-dressed elephant.
Okay, so the goal here was super simple. I just needed to use an AI image generator to whip up a thumbnail for this explainer. The first try was pretty close, but for some reason, it decided to add a pair of glasses to my little avatar. A small detail, sure, but not exactly the look I was going for. My follow-up prompt, I thought, was totally crystal clear. I just said, remove the glasses. Simple enough, right? I mean, what could possibly be ambiguous about that? Well, I was about to find out.
And here's the thing. The AI followed my instructions perfectly. It just completely missed my intent. See, what I hadn't even noticed was this tiny little elephant mascot in the corner of the image, who was also wearing glasses. So, yep, the AI took the glasses off the elephant, not me. It's hilarious for sure, but man, it's also a really powerful lesson.
And this really gets to the heart of it. Context is absolutely everything. These large language models, they just don't have our human intuition. You have got to be incredibly specific. A funny thumbnail is one thing, no big deal. But just imagine that exact same kind of misinterpretation in a real production app handling, I don't know, financial data or sensitive customer records. Suddenly, it's not so funny anymore. The consequences could be really, really serious.
Okay, so keeping that lesson about precision firmly in mind, let's pivot and look at some super practical updates to your core Azure infrastructure. We'll start with some new tools that are going to help you plan with a lot more precision and get a serious boost in performance.
Let me ask you this. If you've ever built a cloud-native app on Kubernetes, I bet you know this feeling. You're trying to estimate the cost, but there are so many interconnected services, it kind of feels like you're just guessing, right? And nobody, I mean nobody, likes getting those surprise bills at the end of the month.
Well, good news. Azure is tackling this problem head-on. There's now a dedicated cloud-native app on Kubernetes scenario right in the pricing calculator. It actually bundles all the related services together for you: AKS, container registry, monitoring, the whole shebang. So you can finally get a true honest-to-goodness cost estimate for your entire stack right from day one. This is a huge deal for preventing those dreaded budget overruns.
Now, let's switch gears and talk about performance. For anyone running those really demanding I/O-intensive workloads, you have to know about Premium SSD v2. It is a total game changer. And here's why. It lets you scale your capacity, your IOPS, that's input/output operations per second, and your throughput all independently of each other. This means you get this incredible fine-grained control to perfectly balance performance and cost for exactly what you need.
So what does that actually mean in the real world? We are talking about sub-millisecond latencies. That is just ridiculously fast. And get this, you can change your performance settings on the fly with zero downtime. It's absolutely perfect for things like heavy-duty databases, big data analytics, gaming, you name it. And hey, for our friends in Europe and Asia, there's great news. It's now available in Austria East and Japan West.
All right, we've covered infrastructure. Now let's talk about something just as important: your data. This next batch of updates is all about making your data services smarter, safer, and honestly, just a lot easier to manage.
First up, let's do a quick refresh on a really important concept: decoupled applications. This is absolutely key for building resilient systems. The idea is simple. Instead of having your services call each other directly, they pass messages through a broker, like Azure Service Bus. This way, if one service goes down, the rest of the system can keep on trucking. The whole thing doesn't just grind to a halt. So, building on that idea of resilience, there's a really cool new geo-replication feature for Service Bus Premium that's worth knowing about. You now have a choice for your disaster recovery. You can go with synchronous mode, which guarantees zero data loss, but it adds a little bit of latency. Or you can choose asynchronous mode, which is faster but comes with a small risk of data loss in a disaster. It's that classic trade-off between safety and speed, but now you have the control to make that choice.
Next up, let's talk about a massive headache that every data engineer knows all too well. You need to pull data into Microsoft Fabric for analysis, but it's coming from countless sources, and every single one has its own messy schema and format. So, the question is, how do you possibly clean and structure all of that efficiently?
This is exactly what the recent acquisition of Osmos is designed to solve. It uses AI to intelligently look at your messy source data, understand it, map it to a clean schema, and then just automate that entire data pipeline. This is a huge time saver for data engineers. It frees them up from all that tedious data wrangling so they can focus on actual analysis.
And speaking of AI, the developer toolbox is evolving faster than ever. So let's dive into a couple of key updates that you're definitely going to want to be aware of.
First, there's a new text-to-speech model called Dragon HD Omni, and it's now in preview. It's got over 700 high-quality multilingual voices, but the really cool part is the expressive styles. You can make it sound curious, angry, or even, and I am not making this up, like a chill surfer. Like, whoa, dude. Seriously, the creative possibilities here are just endless.
Okay, switching from fun to serious for a second. This is a critical planning note. Specific versions of GPT-4o are being retired at the end of March 2026. Now, if you have auto upgrade enabled, you should be fine. But, and this is a big but, if you have pinned your applications to these specific versions, you need to start planning your migration now.
And this brings us right back to our elephant story, doesn't it? It is such a vital reminder that large language models are non-deterministic. That means the same prompt won't always give you the exact same result. So, anytime you upgrade the underlying model, you absolutely must retest your AI applications to make sure they're still behaving the way you expect them to.
All right, let's wrap things up with one final but very important deprecation announcement that could impact how you integrate services with Azure.
So custom resource providers have been a pretty useful tool for extending the Azure Resource Manager. They essentially let you plug external or legacy APIs right into the Azure control plane, so you could manage them with standard ARM commands like create, update, and delete.
Well, here's the heads up. This service is being retired. The deadline to migrate away from it is the end of October 2026. So if you're using custom resource providers, right now is the time to start planning your migration to avoid any last-minute scrambling.
So, what are your options? Well, the official guidance suggests looking into alternatives, like using deployment scripts directly inside your templates, or maybe exploring bicep extensions. It really depends on your specific scenario. The key is to review your architecture and choose the right path forward.
And that's a wrap on this month's Azure updates. From the tiny details of AI prompting all the way to major service retirements, it's pretty clear the pace of change isn't slowing down one bit. It leaves us with a critical question, doesn't it? In a cloud that evolves this quickly, how are you adapting your strategy to not just keep up, but to actually stay ahead of the curve? Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.